Speech Kids! Speech Kids!
I just recently posted a very haphazard top 5 movies. I didn't put more than 30 seconds of thought into. I just thought, what are movies that I would watch if they happened to be on, that I would enjoy continuing to watch, and they included American Beauty, Independence Day. What was it? What else did I have on there? See, this is how thoughtless it was. Perhaps Good Will Hunting. I don't know. The Departed. These were my
apples. Yeah. Uh-huh.
To be honest, I only saw American Beauty and then I started to rage out because you're better than this, Jeff. You're better than this.
Listen, I have once called American Beauty my favorite movie of all time. And I'll list this had Kevin Spacey, Annette Bening. It had Roger Deakins as the cinematographer, Thomas Newman score. It was
Kevin Spacey, like that's a good thing.
See, and this is the thing, Jeff, is that like 10 years ago, white man loving American Beauty was like, oh, that's nice. That was a great film. And then now, this is one of those places that I'm like, I loved that movie. And I do still have a soft spot for it, but I see everything that is wrong with it. And it's so icky in a way that and then Kevin Spacey on top of that just makes it even more icky in a way that's like, oh, this is so gross and wrong. So I just am going to abdicate any responsibility for American Beauty when we do it in a little while. Students, it's not a good piece.
It's been icky for 20 years, and it was then, it is now, and it shall ever be. Icky, icky, icky. And the thing about Kevin Spacey is, even before his ass got canceled, my dude, you were, indulgent. Now, I've never seen that man give a simple performance. Okay? You know.
And I think that's like me and my dramatic self. That's why I used to be a Kevin Spacey fan, because I was like, oh, people who chew the scenery like me can be successful. But yeah, no, I agree with you. Like 10 years ago, no one would have called you out and canceled you for liking American Beauty. That didn't make it okay 10 years ago. It just meant that like it wasn't something to be someone would have called you on.
He made that abomination that was Beyond the Sea. Was that the one?
Oh, yeah, the Bobby Darin story.
Oh, I'm like, I love Bobby Darin. So that movie, I was like, the music in that movie, my musical theater heart. But yeah, it was terrible.
Get him out of there. Indulgent. This man is indulgent. He's like a walking buffet, just overindulgent.
Well, and not just as an actor, apparently. Like
every facet of his life.
You know, when it was confirmed that he was gay, I felt like that totally explained his on-screen chemistry with Annette Bening. I couldn't quite put my finger on. Right. I was like, for some reason in my mind, now I was like 16, 15 when this movie came out. Sarcastic indifference to your wife was tasty to me. I was like, oh yeah, you can really give it to him, baby. And you can own yourself at 42 by smoking pot and lifting weights and working at a fast food drive-in. That's how you reclaim your life at some point. It resonated. I was already going through
and I was like, crisis. Sarcastic meanness to your spouse was just sort of the household I grew up in. So,
yeah.
Mom and Dad. So like that was just like, oh, it's Tuesday.
No, that betting is better than that, and she deserved more than that. How dare they? How dare they?
But can we explain, because I still will, and now I haven't watched that movie in a while, so I will say.
I think here's what's going to happen, Jeff. You're going to go watch it after this, and I'm going to get a text from you that goes, oh boy, I get it.
Well, he doesn't even have to watch it. Like the cutting that he did, I was going, oh yeah, oh, like every other page, I was like, no, that's right. He says, yeah.
I get it, because there are pieces of art that if you ingest them at just the right age, you forgive them for a lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
But
I feel like Donnie Darko was that movie for a lot of people, like just either slightly older than me, maybe slightly older than me, or slightly younger. I can't tell, but I never resonated with me, and yet like it's top 5 movies for like countless dudes around me my age.
Then there are movies that like in your memory they're like, it's like, oh yeah, I know it might not like hold up, but like I still love it. And then you sit down and you actually watch it and you're like, oh no, I I really glorified this in my mind. I feel like that's going to be American Beauty for you.
Yeah, because then there are movies that hold up.
There are plenty that do. Like clearly we've all been rewatching a lot during quarantine.
Oh yeah. I'm sitting here going like, oh, movies that hold up. I'm like Legally Blonde and Clueless.
Oh yeah.
Great example. Clueless, because Clueless, even though it's like a parody and it's satire, it's also like pretty fucking progressive.
Yep.
And like I actually read the oral history as if I read the book about it.
That's amazing.
And in the oral history, they said, it's kind of like it's kind of awesome. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's like there's cooler things about it that you see as an adult than you saw as a teen, which is not the case with a lot of these films when you go back and watch them or TV shows.
Absolutely. It's why I'm like so excited that there's a Clueless musical that's going to happen soon. Sometime it's in the works. I'm like, we'll get into this later down the road, my love of like bad screen to stage musicals that are actually good, but I'm like, that's one that I'm actually like really excited to see what they do with it, because it's just ripe for it.
I don't think it's gonna go any further than it's been.
Well, but it'll get released for
what?
American Beauty the musical?
Get out. Jeff.
Look, I will say this. You cannot say you did not feel very heartbroken in the final montage after he's been shot and he's, seeing his whole life. And
I did.
I was benning.
The only thing I felt was relief that it must be almost over.
You felt this way your whole, like, you never once watched that movie and were like, I felt something and I enjoyed it. You were like trash from the get-go.
I rolled my eyes so hard they almost fell out of my head from the moment I saw it. Oh man, the only other I'm trying to think of like other movies that I've hated that much. I think like, to me, American Beauty is on the same level as like Eyes Wide Shut.
Oh,
like Match Point, that one Woody Allen movie. Match Point. Oh, hate like this is the level of hatred I have for that movie. Like, just the totally overindulgent male gaze. I have all this privilege and I'm bored. Blah 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 blah. Get out of here.
And when I saw it in '99, when I was in high school, like I wasn't recognizing any of this stuff. Like I was like baby woke, not like actually woke enough to understand that and like recognize it. So I loved it. I was like, oh, the acting and the this and that. But then I watch it now and I'm just like, oh, this is everything that's wrong with like manhood in our country.
In '99, when it came out, I was like, I don't want to say how young I was because I don't want to discredit my early opinions of it. I just thought they were boring. Like, I was just like, this is boring. I'm like, oh, it's not just boring, it's offensive.
I mean, it was no Lizzie McGuire movie, but, it had its moments. We all like sardonic, sarcastic remarks here and there, throwing a plate against the wall. I mean, there are good moments.
Sure.
Wait, can I ask this?
Plate throwing and Annette Bening.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Look, I did have I did recently just rewatch Shawshank Redemption.
Okay.
A movie that holds up.
Yeah.
However, explain this to me. Why is that on so many people's top 5, even top 1 movies of all time? I don't get it.
Because it gets played in syndication 5 times every day. People see it.
That's a movie that doesn't like, I watched it. I know I liked it. I can't really remember it though. Like, that's like a movie that kind of like, I don't really remember.
Yeah, exactly. Because there isn't much to remember. The only thing you'll probably remember was when that old guy got out and couldn't deal with it and he hung himself, and you're like, that's the saddest thing I've ever seen. Then you think to yourself, wait, that guy might have murdered people, and yet I feel bad for him later.
See,
because he couldn't
that's when though that the acting is really good in that movie. The acting in that movie is what sells it and is really good.
Great cast, Thomas Newman score, all of it was well done. I just don't have any desire to watch it again. I know why I only watched it once before.
Be honest, you aren't watching films. You're just listening to those scores, baby. That's all.
I love them scores, baby. I'm not gonna lie. You put a Thomas Newman score or a Hans Zimmer score in anything, I'm in.
Speech Kids! Speech Kids!